Hello, everyone. Today we are diving into something else than the audiobooks. What if I told you that a single book could change the world? That the words of one writer, penned centuries ago, still shape the way we think today? Stay with me because in the next few minutes, we're diving deep into the lives and legacies of the greatest writers in English literature. Some you know, some might surprise you. And one or two, well, let's just say they might change the way you look at books forever. Our journey begins in the 14th century with a man often called the father of English literature, Geoffrey Chaucer. Before Chaucer, literature was mostly written in Latin or French, the language of the elite. But Chaucer? He dared to write in English, making literature accessible to the common people. His masterpiece, The Canterbury Tales, is a collection of stories told by pilgrims on their way to Canterbury. These tales provided a colorful, humorous, and often satirical look at medieval society, exposing its virtues and vices. Imagine a world where storytelling was reserved for the few, and then, bam, Chaucer makes it accessible to everyone. Now, we can't talk about literature without mentioning the rock star of English drama, William Shakespeare, the man who gave us phrases like break the ice, wild goose chase, and all that glitters is not gold. His works weren't just plays. They were psychological explorations of ambition, power, love, and betrayal. His tragedies, like Macbeth and Hamlet, delve into the darkest corners of human nature, while his comedies, like A Midsummer Night's Dream, showcase the humor and absurdity of life. But here's a question. Was Shakespeare just one man? Or was he a collection of writers? Theories abound, but one thing's for sure. His influence is unmatched. Next up, the man who wrote an epic about the fall of humanity, John Milton. Paradise Lost is more than a poem. It's a philosophical masterpiece that questions good and evil, free will, and divine justice. Written during a time of political upheaval in England, it reflects Milton's own struggles and beliefs about authority and rebellion. Fun fact, Milton was blind when he wrote this. He dictated the entire poem to his assistants. Imagine having that kind of creative power. His depiction of Satan as a complex, almost sympathetic character has fascinated readers for centuries. Now, let's switch gears to a woman who transformed the novel forever. Jane Austen. With books like Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility, Austen didn't just write love stories. She dissected society, marriage, and class with razor-sharp wit. She was ahead of her time, portraying strong-willed heroines who questioned societal norms. Elizabeth Bennet, for example, is independent and intelligent, refusing to marry for anything less than love. Ever wonder where the classic enemies to lovers trope comes from? That's right. Austen had it mastered long before Hollywood. If there was ever a writer who captured the struggles of the common man, it was Charles Dickens. His novels, like Oliver Twist and A Christmas Carol, exposed the harsh realities of Victorian life: child labor, poverty, and corruption. But Dickens didn't just write for entertainment. He was a social reformer. His serialized novels were eagerly anticipated by the public, much like how we binge-watch TV shows today. Can you imagine waiting weeks just to find out what happens next to Pip in Great Expectations? Dickens mastered cliffhangers, keeping his audience on the edge of their seats. Gothic, romantic, and tragic. The Bronte sisters gave us some of the most haunting novels ever written. Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights is a tale of wild passion and revenge set against the eerie Yorkshire moors, while Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre introduced one of literature's first fiercely independent heroines. Their writing explored themes of love, loss, and gender roles in ways that were groundbreaking for their time. Their lives were short, but their stories live on. Ever heard the phrase, be yourself? Everyone else is already taken? That's Oscar Wilde for you. His novel The Picture of Dorian Gray and his play The Importance of Being Earnest are dripping with satire and razor-sharp humor. Wilde was a master of social critique, exposing the hypocrisy of the Victorian elite. But Wilde's life was just as dramatic as his works: scandal, imprisonment, and exile. His story is one of brilliance and tragedy. Enter Virginia Woolf, a writer who changed the way stories are told. She pioneered stream of consciousness writing, diving deep into the minds of her characters. Mrs. Dalloway and To the Lighthouse weren't just novels. They were experiments in thought and time. Woolf's writing captures the fleeting, fragmented nature of consciousness, making her one of the most innovative writers of the 20th century. Want to see the world through someone else's mind? Woolf does it like no other. Ever feel like someone's watching you? Blame George Orwell. His books 1984 and Animal Farm warned us about political control, propaganda, and the loss of freedom. The scary part? His predictions are eerily close to reality today. Orwell didn't just write fiction, he wrote warnings. And finally, two authors who shaped modern fantasy, J.R.R. Tolkien and J.K. Rowling. The Lord of the Rings redefined epic storytelling, while Harry Potter brought magic to a new generation. These aren't just books, they're entire universes that millions escape into. And let's be real, who doesn't love a good adventure? And there you have it, the most important writers in English literature. But this is just the beginning. Which writer inspires you the most? Who should be on this list? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more literary deep dives. Until next time, keep reading, keep dreaming, and keep the magic of storytelling alive.